Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you've been here before, then welcome back. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. New. An interesting one. Today's video, I slapped the knee there because that's how interesting I think this video is going to be, hopefully. And hopefully I can make these types of videos more because I'm about to go on a tour for 3.5 weeks to the French Alps. I used to do it about 7 or 8 years ago. It was sort of the full-time job. Then I moved to Belgium. Tried to pursue music here, blah 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 blah. That's for another story, or maybe included in this one. Let's see. But I'm going back for the first time, and as a solo act. I used to do it predominantly with bands. I did a few solo shows, but it was mainly I was out there playing in bands. But this time I'm going solo. Now, an interesting thing about touring out in the Alps is you have to be the full production, because a lot of the venues that you're playing in are bars, which aren't music venues and don't necessarily have the equipment, so I have to take everything. Some places do, so I'll just plug straight into their systems, but as I said, you've got to be the full production. So today's video is going to be interesting. Now see if I can do this because I'm using this GoPro. So we have here, let's spin it around. So this yellow box, that long one, this 2 speakers, little Fishman, guitar, bag, and box. That's my setup, which I'm quite pleased with because this is a full PA here and 2 guitars, so I can get it all in the car. It's a squeeze, but we can make it work. So today's video is, I'm recording this on a Friday. I leave on Monday. And so I need to plug this in because I've had to buy these and because I didn't have them. So I need to try them out, hence the rehearsal room. And that's pretty much it. I think I'm probably going to... Okay, love you, bye! First time using it this way. I'm shouting because I'm assuming I have to shout, but maybe I don't. So sorry if I'm shouting. So I might time-lapse some of this because it might be quite boring. And I'm going to have to work things out, which... I don't know if I can speak and work things out at the same time because I'm a man. Stereotypes. So, what am I doing? Okay, yeah. I'm going to pretend like I'm actually at the gig, and assuming that this is going to be my stage. I think I may need an extra long power cable just in case this isn't the size and I need to extend it. You know what I'm saying. Okay. I bought these gravity stands in a very swish. Well, you saw the bag. It's really nice. Handles are nice. It's a shame that this is probably going to be the best quality they're ever going to be in because they're nice and new now. They're probably going to get all dinged up. Okay, I will probably have to set them higher than that when I play, but I'm still going to put the speaker on, so I'm not going to do it higher than that for now. Okay. Yep, still recording, I was just checking. RCFs. Now back in the day when I was playing with bands, my experience was pretty much with Mackies, and they were heavy buggers. So some friends out there recommended that I look at the RCFs because they're very good. They're light and they sound great. Now, I was a bit scared when I got these out of the box because they were a bit smaller than I thought, because they are no, they are the ART 708A. And I was a bit scared because they're smaller than like I said, thought they'd be. But it's only me going through it. I think last time I played through, PA speakers, it was the whole band was going through them, so they had to be bigger. I made the investment as well in buying covers for these because it makes it obviously protects the speakers, but sometimes, from what I remember back in the day, well, I ripped that a little bit. Sometimes there would be gigs on a terrace, providing it's not snowing, but then maybe it might start snowing, so covers. I should have done this first, really. The rule was always power first. Power. Boom, look at that bad boy. Now, there are plenty of outlets here with extension cables, but I'm going to ignore them because I'm going to imagine they're not there and I have to get power for everything. So I'm going to come out of the wall using my bits and bobs. From what I imagined will probably be the case is that when I'm all set up, the mixing desk will be on one side, right? So the power is going to have to be on predominantly more on one side, because I'm going to have more things being plugged in on one side, if that makes sense. So the mixing desk, that speaker, if I'm going that side, and then my pedals, which means this speaker is all by itself power-wise. So I had envisioned, in mapping it out in my head, I should have drawn it out, I suppose, really, hadn't I? But in mapping it out in my head, I have this, which means the speaker, the mixing desk, my pedals, and maybe the Fishman can go on this. But how am I going to power that one other than a really long lead? So I may have to go and get another one of these today, but that's why I wanted to do this, to plug in and check. Yes, now you see it. But yeah, I wanted to plug in and check to see if that was the case. Okay, I'm gonna carry on. I'm gonna stop talking and carry on. After this rehearsal, I'm gonna go and get myself another one of these and another one of these, because then I should have all bases covered. I'm going to see if I can try and keep the little cable ties as long as I can. I did buy some cable ties, like Velcro ones. But let's see how long I can hold on to these for. Oh, well, that's pretty long. But even if this is my stage, that doesn't really fit, especially if I tie it round so as to make it a bit tidy so that no one trips over it. That's not going to really. I could in a pinch, but I don't like it. That was my Little Britain impression. Remember that? Remember when we all thought Little Britain was funny? Some of it was funny. Like, non-offensively funny, some of it. Okay. Speaker cables. I think I'm going to use the chair to put the desk on, because That's probably what's going to happen out there as well. Okay. Mixing desk time. This is a Behringer Xenix X1204. This one. Now, funny story. I don't know whose this is or where it came from. The rehearsal room that me and my band used to rehearse in, which was the mother-in-law's art workspace, had a bunch of stuff in there. Took it all out when she moved out of that place, and in preparation for this tour and getting all the PA stuff, I realised I needed a desk, but I thought that's okay, there is a mixing desk. The mixing desk I thought of was another mixing desk that I had, that I knew I had from back in England, but it needed a new power supply. And in gathering together all the stuff, searching through cupboards and basements and stuff, came across this. It was in the workshop. We all remember it being in the workshop, but we don't remember where it came from or whose it is. But it meant I've been able to save a little bit of money. I had to take it all apart and clean it because it was covered in dust, but there's a little bit of crackle, but I think we'll be all right. So let's see what happens. She's plugged in. I also got some extra fuses for it, just in case. Okay, desk is done. What do we need now? Vocal mic lead. And Fishman lead. Now we'll come to the Fishman in a minute, but I need 2 of those. I got a bunch more spares in here, but we won't go through that. Well, maybe we should. I got a spare of the speaker cables, but can also be mic cables. I got 2 extras of those. I'll just show you, shall I? I'll just show you. So we have this, which isn't really going to be necessary. I bought it for another gig, but never used it. Take it with us. There is an older XLR, which I've had for a while, so that's just a spare guitar cable, extra XLR, a secondary extra XLR, extra guitar cable, cheap spare one, second of that, and then we seem to have another XLR cable as a spare, and some gaffer. Okay. Rubber plug. When I'm out there, I'm going to make a daily challenge to see how quickly I can set all this up. I'm taking my time with it now because it's all new, and I think the first few times I'll be like, finding my way with it. But I want to see how quickly I can do it, and efficiently. I think I'm going to make a whole separate video about this, but I've invested in some in-ear monitors, which I've said in previous videos I really wanted to try out because I'm fed up of not hearing myself. And I've tested these at 2 gigs now so far, and a little bit of demo in at home, and I think this is the way forward for me. What's in the bag? Let's check, shall we? microphones, guitar cables, power for the Fishman and for pedal board, extra strings, cable ties as mentioned earlier, power play for the in-ears, and a special little diddle bitty lead for said in-ears. Okay. I'll show you quickly. So this is the main one. It's a classic SM58 by Shaw with a little sticker on it. See? This has done the rounds. I've had this since the first time I was out in the Alps. So this mic is over 10 years old. I'd like to upgrade it at some point for the 58As. If this tour goes well and I go back, then I'll definitely get another one. I'm taking this as a backup, your trusty 57, Shure SM57s, which isn't traditionally a vocal mic, but I did use it as a vocal mic for a while when I couldn't find this one. So I'm going to take it as a spare just in case. When I got this for the in-ears, so the lead from the mixing desk from the headphones will go into this. I can also use this to turn it up and down as well as the board, and then you plug your little in-ears in this. I'll do another video on this because this is definitely a way forward, but I saw this end, as you can see, and I thought, oh, XLR, so I'm going to need to get a jack coming out of the desk into an XLR, but you can put normal jacks in that as well. Amateur. Well, it's alright, it's all good. Okay, I've turned the desk on and it's working. Nothing's blown up, so that's good. Now the other day I did a gig, I did an originals gig, and I used my pedal board, which there's another story behind that because I've been using the Pod Go up until now, but the power on that has broken and it stressed me out to try and get power for that, so I just assembled an analog board of which stuff on it I haven't used for a long time. I plugged that into my Fishman during the sound check, fine, started the gig, crackling. So I need to determine now whether the crackling was the Fishman or whether it was the pedal board. The thing is as well, the Fishman at this point is a little bit redundant because I have up until now been using it as a monitor by plugging both the vocals and guitar into it, having a DI out into the PA, and then having the Fishman itself as the monitor. I had one before and it worked for a very, very long time, and then it started crackling. But what it seemed to be, after some tests, it only seemed to be crackling coming out of the speaker, not the DI aspect of it. So I've kept it, it's in the basement because it's still relatively usable. Because what I'm going to do now, this is the new one, and I hope we haven't come across the same problems, but it's a little bit redundant in that I'm basically using it as a preamp. I'll show you the pedal board in a minute. I do have a preamp on the pedal board already, but it this is why we're here today, to test it out and see what's necessary. Because I'll have the in-ears, I won't need to hear it. I didn't want to invest in another speaker for a monitor because there's something else to carry, and it is more expense, and then I'm only going to use it for this tour. I'll find uses for it in the future, but the in-ears I can use all the time. Original gigs, demoing, you know, these cover gigs. The possibilities of my in-ears vastly outweigh the possibilities of having an extra speaker for a monitor at this point. Okay. Somewhat excessive, perhaps, in some people's minds. I'm taking 2 acoustics because I'm out there to be solo, so I'm only going to be... I could do it electric, I suppose, but when you see one person on their own with an instrument that's a guitar, it kind of visually makes more sense to have an acoustic. I've got it because if a string breaks, which has happened, and has happened more frequently on the Martin, for the time being, I think it's going to be easier to have something behind me already in tune, and instead of having to restring mid-gig, I just turn around and grab this. I'm thinking I might alternate. One gig, this will be the main one with the Martin as the backup, and then the other one, Martin as the main one, and then the Larrabee as backup. But we'll see, we'll have fun with it. We have options. We have options. The only thing I don't have for that one is the feedback buster, so I'd have to swap that out. I should have got that, shouldn't I? It would have made more sense. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. I'm going to set the speakers at 10 o'clock each and see where that takes us. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, that's good. What about halfway? Let's do halfway. 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 It's very bassy, isn't it? Halfway. Halfway. That's with all the bass off. Halfway. Halfway. When I really do the gigs, I'll tie it up nicely, but now I just want to see what that's like in front of the speakers, singing in front of the speakers. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, oh. So that's with the channel and the master on full. The gain on the desk is about halfway, and I'm about halfway on the speakers. So I'll have some extra room to go. Maybe I'll just try that. What? Crikey, yeah. Okay, that's gonna be good enough. That's gonna be good enough. Okay. How are we doing for battery? Okay. I'm gonna try without the Fishman on first. Oh, maybe you can hear me better like this. I'm going to try it without the Fishman on first. Well, I mean, not coming at me, the speaker not coming at me. sun. Hey, bit of tune. Not bad. Pretty happy with that. Hey, hey, hey. What you know is say, making a sound, making a sound. This is just with the LR Bags DI, no Fishman here. It does sound better going through the LR Bags and then the Fishman, so I think that's what I'm going to do for now. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I might as well show you the rig now, because I just said that, didn't I? What I'm going to do is I will show you everything from my perspective, then I'm going to turn you off, plug in my in-ears, have a good go, and then we'll reconvene afterwards. Can you see me? There you go. And then I'll say that again, shall I? What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I can see from my perspective. Then I'm going to close this off, plug the in-ears in, have a little bit of a play, and then we shall reconvene afterwards. Because the battery's going. I would leave it on, but the battery's going. Maybe I didn't charge it as much as I should have, so I want to be able to have a debrief at the end of this and then show you what it looks like all packed in the car. So okay, so here we go. So I don't think you can hear me as well because I'm now behind the microphone, so apologies for the tone if it sounds like I'm being a bit passive aggressive. So we have main axe number 1, the Martin. We have main axe number 2 / main axe number 1, depending on the night, the Larrivee. We have, there's a microphone, crowd, speakers. So yeah, at the moment I am at just over half on both of them, and I think that's going to be more than enough. Tablet, Bluetooth switcher. So pedal board, here we have. I could. So what you just heard is I'm going in here, through this, through that, into the looper, out of the looper, into the Loudbox Mini, and then out of the Loudbox Mini into the desk, which we'll get to in a second. But what I've just realised I could do is this has a DI out as well. So I could, in addition to this rig, have another one come out into the desk to give me some more options, but I don't know if that's necessary at this point. But that's what we are here. Relatively flat, as you can see on the what's it called? LR Bags venue. Here is where we're getting most of the tone. The Martin is very boomy, which is what I like. So I've taken the low down and the mids down a bit, giving it a bit more high. Maybe touch that back a bit, and that's quite nice. The reverb is coming out of this, not the desk. I'm just going to turn that off. Desk-wise, here we are. What to say over this? I might play around a bit more with what reverb we've got coming out of here. But yeah, relatively standard. I think I'm going to plug my in-ears in it now and see if this sends exactly what's coming out of here, or whether it's minus the effects as I have had previous experience with over the last couple of weeks, where it doesn't send the effects out. So not the end of the world. Maybe I should pan it a little bit like that to give it a little bit of space. Okay, right, we're gonna close off. Here I am. Gonna shut you off for a little bit, have a little bit of a play, and then come back in a second and report. There you go, it's all about the lighting, isn't it? That's better, isn't it? Okay, see you in a minute, love you. A successful test. In terms of playing through it, I didn't do so much. Today wasn't really a playing rehearsal, it was just more of a seeing it through the, seeing how it was through the speakers, having everything rigged up for the first time, using the in-ears. All went successful. Now the only hiccup, if it's a hiccup, well yeah, the only hiccup is the in-ears. I love them. I want to do a separate video about these because why it's taken me so long to get here is annoying really. But going into the desk, it crackles like it's overdriven, but only going into the in-ears. The volume isn't up high, so it's not actually overdriving, and it's not overdriving through the main speakers. So perhaps it's dusty. Like I said, I took it apart and I took it really apart, cleaned it all up good and proper, and that is still persisting. If that's the only thing, then I can get away with that, because I could hear myself. Obviously in here is not really what the gigs are going to be like, so I don't know if I'll be able to hear myself well enough through just the speakers standing just behind it, but I could feel it a bit. So these not being super loud in my ears and having half of it come through the speakers and half of it through this, I can live with that. Because after a certain, yeah, I don't really know what it is yet, but that's the only hiccup. Everything else has gone swimmingly. There is some sort of ticking going on. I don't know whether that's the electrical current doing it, because it obviously in here is a isolated room, so it's very quiet. In a bar, when there's people chatting and some background music, they won't hear no one's going to hear the slight little pulse that's going on. But when it's all quiet in here and I've got these in, I can hear it, but I'm focusing on it. It doesn't stand out. a very successful run. I will get extra power just to be on the safe side, but other than that, I feel a lot better. The anxiety is lowered. So yeah, we'll see what it's like in the field, so to speak, but here it went really well. I'm really happy with it. There we go. She's all locked in. Pretty stacked. Bearing in mind I would have to put a suitcase in here. I do have a snowboard that I might take with me, and I'm going to take an electric guitar because there's bands out there, and if someone needs an electric guitar player, then it'd be good for me to have one. But I don't have room for an amp or extra pedal boards really. So once the suitcase goes in there, oh, and I'm taking my iMac as well, so I can edit these bad boys, which is a pretty big box. But I mean, once I'm there, this will be what's in it every day, so I'm happy with that. That's pretty good. That's what she looks like from the inside. So a successful PA rehearsal. Everything's in order apart from the crackle in the in-ears, but I think that's dust really. So either it will go as I play, as it gets used, or it won't. But either way, I'm more than happy. The anxiety is low now, to low/nothing, because everything works. I will get extra power, but other than that, we're sorted. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe and follow for more interesting videos. There will be videos of the Alps, obviously, so stay tuned for those. Press the notification bell if you want to. I'm doing it. I borrowed a friend's GoPro to test out because I think I want to invest in one, but I can try one now. So let me know if the quality is better. I bloody hope so. It needs to be, doesn't it really? Okay, thank you. Love you. Bye bye.